Hello, welcome to Old Nerd Reads His Marvel Comics in Order, episode 34. This time, taking a look at Marvel Team Up number 46 from June of 1976. This time, he teams up with Deathlock The Demolisher. This issue is fine plus, very fine minus condition. Not bad. Not a bad copy. This story is continuing from the last several issues where Spider-Man's jaunting around through time on Doctor Doom's time platform. This time he ends up in Deathlock's time. Deathlock, created by Rich Buckler, who from some previous Old Nerd Reads His Marvel Comics in Order episodes will remember was drawing the Fantastic Four for a good while before being replaced by George Perez. But this cover is by Rich Buckler and Mike Esposito. Rich Buckler left Fantastic Four to create and I guess write and draw Astonishing Tales, several issues introducing his creation Deathlock. So this story takes place shortly after that, or during that, I should say, and basically is a showcase for Deathlock. For one of the things that Marvel Team Up did was introduce new characters or less popular characters to a wider audience because since Spider-Man was the star of the book, lots of people bought it. And in doing so, they would be introduced to new characters or characters that weren't selling well. And I think probably that was from the plot of this issue, I would assume that this is just to bring attention to Deathlock, much like the last issue, guest starring Killraven, was, I think, doing for Killraven. But Spider-Man just kind of pops into Deathlock's time, not sure how he got there. He knows it's, of course, Doom's time platform, but he doesn't have control over it, so he's just kind of popping in and out of times as he's trying to get back to his present time. And this time, he's surprised to end up in a ruined post-apocalyptic New York City. He spots this cyborg stalking these kids, holding these cubes. The cyborg's about to attack. Spider-Man stops them, which gets the attention of the kids with the cubes. And then we find out that the kids with the cubes are actually mutants with irradiated blood, and these cubes give them a hive mind sort of mentality. They don't really have any thoughts of their own. They're all just kind of drones, and these cubes make them act as one. And I don't know if they're cannibals or what they are, but Deathlock is trying to get rid of all of them. And now Spider-Man realizes that these kids with the cubes are actually the baddies. Takes one down. Well, Deathlock blasts one. Yeah, he blasts one. Spider-Man I guess he's still alive, or maybe it's a different mutant than the one Deathlock shot, but I guess he's unconscious. Deathlock explains what's going on with the cubes. And see, this is what I mean by it's just like basically a quick introduction to Deathlock's series in Astonishing Tales. It's just like going through basically all the characters and situations that are happening in his story, basically to get Marvel Team Up readers up to speed on what's going on in Deathlock's comic so that you can jump over there and read that. But here's a couple more characters, these assassins that work for maybe the CIA or something. There's lots of asterisks in this issue saying, check out Astonishing Tales for the details. Spider-Man, still lugging around the unconscious mutant, catches a bunch of bullets from these CIA snipers that are trying to kill Deathlock. Ticks him off, of course. And he goes after him. And you get, after several pages of ads, a great big Sal Buscema splash page of him crashing through that billboard and taking out the snipers. Yeah, he beats the one down that did the shooting, and Deathlock takes the other one out permanently, which Spider-Man doesn't like. Spider-Man is a hero. He doesn't kill, and he doesn't like people who do kill. Now the mutants show up again with this leader character, and he's not explained. Like Bill Mantlo wrote this, and I realized he was trying to cram in an awful lot to give you an overview of what's going on in Deathlock's title. But he doesn't really say who this guy in this costume is that's in charge of these mutants, other than he's the leader. And so a big fracas happens again. And they win, of course. The mutants run off, and the leader gets unmasked, and he's just another kid like the rest of the mutants. But then Spider-Man lectures Deathlock on, you shouldn't be just fighting the symptoms of the disease. You should go after the disease, basically, and take on the big powers behind all these mutant attacks, which leads Deathlock to reflect, yeah, I guess I should go have the showdown with this character named Riker once and for all. Asterisk, it takes place in Astonishing Tales number 36. So this story kind of takes place in between Astonishing Tales number 35 and 36, I'm guessing. So that's Deathlock. And I think this was the first time I ever read a Deathlock story when I was a kid, was when I read Marvel Team Up. Thought he was a pretty cool character. Never read too much Deathlock, though. There was a series that came out in the 90s, a Deathlock series with art by Leonardo Manco, and I think it was written by J.M. DeMatteis. Maybe not. Can't remember. But that was a pretty good series. Didn't last real long, but I never read a lot of Deathlock. He shows up here and there. He shows up in some Captain America issues that I'll be coming up on here soon in my reading my Marvel Comics in Order series, drawn by the great Mike Zeck. So I'm looking forward to getting to that because I love those issues. So, but that's it for Deathlock for me, really. And then the story continues. This storyline of Spidey jumping through time has been going on since Marvel Team Up number 41, I think, with the Scarlet Witch, and they went back to the Salem witch trials and did a 4-issue story back then. And ever since then, he's been jumping around. So I think probably next issue he finally ends up back at the Baxter Building. So we're going to have a crossover at that point with Marvel 2-in-1 number 17, which just happens to be the next issue of Marvel 2-in-1 that I own. So we'll be able to get that crossover in full, I hope. The Thing is going to be in it. So stay tuned for that coming up. But yeah, that's Marvel Team Up number 46. If anybody's got any cool Deathlock details, comment them down below. Otherwise, like, share, and subscribe. And thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.